Welcome everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Plan your BW for HANA roadmap with Birlasoft. I'm your host Nikhil Paratwar. Before we move ahead, I would like to remind all of you about a few housekeeping items. All attendees will be on mute mode during the webinar. Attendees can ask questions by typing into the chat box. All questions will be taken at the end of webinar. If you face any issues during the webinar, please type the issue in chat box and let me know. I would like to thank our speakers for taking time to share their knowledge on BW for HANA. Our speakers for today are Mandar Gokhale. Mandar is a Global Practice Director, SAP Business Unit at Birlasoft. He has more than 25 years of IT experience in multiple ERPs and BI solutions. He is currently heading BI and HANA practice for Birlasoft globally. Our second speaker is Ramdas Patil. Ramdas is an enterprise solution architect of SAP Business Unit at Birlasoft. He has nearly 14 years of IT experience and has worked on SAP BW, BW and HANA, BW for HANA and ABAP across various industry verticals. We'd like to take a poll on your BW for HANA landscape of your organizations. So please, we request all of you to answer the question which will be popped up on your screen now.
Hello, Nikhil.
Mandar, it's over to you now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Can you make me a presenter?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Good afternoon, folks. While Nikhil is making us a presenter, let me quickly introduce. My name is Mandar, and as Nikhil mentioned, I'm in the IT industry for 20 plus years now, and currently KPIT Birlasoft last 14 years, managing the BW business objects and recently the HANA practice. I've been joined by our senior lead in the area of BW and BW for HANA, Ramdas Patil. So Ramdas, can you quickly introduce?
Hey, hi guys. So as as Mandar mentioned, so I'm working in SAP from last 14 years. Out of that, 10 years into the SAP BW, where I have worked on various platforms like classical BW, BW on HANA, and BW for HANA for various industry verticals. And I'm working in Birlasoft from last more than 8 years.
Thank you, Ramdas. So, Nikhil, can you confirm whether you can see our screen?
Yes. So, Mandar, you can share your screen and start off with the presentation. Thank you.
I already shared, so I'm not sure whether you can see. Nikhil, can you make me a presenter
yes,
again?
Yes, I'll do that. Your presenter, Mandar, and we are able to see the screen.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Nikhil, and thanks our internal team who has created this opportunity for us. And I would also like to thank the customers who has joined on the Thursday afternoon. The topic for today is SAP's new solution for enterprise data warehouse, and we also call them as BW for HANA. So today, what me and Ramdas going to cover on a few topics within BW for HANA is what is that the BW for HANA is offering to us as a customer. What are the different options available for customers to move from the existing BW landscape to BW for HANA? Like the poll has clearly indicated that most of the customers who are on the call, more than 43% has either BW 7.4 or 7.5, which is most likely a candidate who can then jump to BW for HANA very seamlessly, very quickly, right? This is also a fact that SAP as a roadmap, BW version 7.0 is getting sunset this year. So it's an urge for customer to move to an HANA landscape. So when I mean to HANA landscape, people may think, can we not move to BW on HANA? Why we want to go to BW for HANA? From the discussions that we generally have with the SAP team, the more focus, more investments, more innovations has been already done in BW for HANA, and that is the reason we are having this webinar today. I would be more than happy to have a more interactive session at when we actually do the Q&A. But let me not waste much time. We'll straight head to our slide. So I will be shifting straight to our introduction part. You can see us on the picture as well. Mandar on the left hand side, Ramdas on the right hand side. So today's main agenda will quickly give you introduction about what.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
Nikhil?
interrupt. Can you share the screen? I think people are not able to see your screen.
It is shared. That's what I have reshared again.
Yeah. Now we are able to see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just in time. So we were just about to kick off. So I was referring our couple of slides on our who we are as a CK Birla Group, Birlasoft as a company. Then our SBU, SAP SBU as a quick introduction. And then we will have a deep dive into BW for HANA as a architecture. What are the technical advantages that customer, IT head, IT folks, the developer will get when they already into BW for HANA. Then we will take our deep dive into what are the conversion methods which are available and which are the preferred ones that people are generally using, followed by our hands-on experience where we actually implemented these methodologies, and then we will pause for the questions. So let me hit to the next slide where. So quick introduction from our unit. So we belong to SAP Horizontal Business Unit. Very strong credentials that we carried forward from the KPIT and then now merged into Birlasoft. More than 25 years of SAP industry experience, and me and Ramdas were lucky enough to be part of it more than 12 to 13 years now, taking care of the business practices, taking care of the BI solution, ECC and S4. So I will not jump into each of those, as today's topic is more on the BI. I will more focus on the BI journey and then the how HANA journey started. To give you a glimpse, we are very committed and focused with the SAP as our OEM. We ourselves are categorized into 3 areas. We are partner, vendor and customer to SAP. Just to give you one additional glimpse that SAP Business Object Support is being conducted from the Pune facility in our office since last 13 years. When I say product support, it includes the platform and product support for business objects, NW, BW, Sybase, and will be soon adding a few additional portfolio, including HANA as well. So whenever you end up raising an OSS message, there's a very good chance that it will hit to one of my team member here in Pune office. So that's kind of commitment, that kind of credentials that we carry, and that gives us a lot of advantage, technical advantage, in terms of early adoption of these new technologies. So let's moving on. This is an important slide. I just want to carry the message that we are always there with the SAP innovations on HANA. You could see we started as an early adopter, early bird. Since 2012, we had a first BI migration project from BW SQL Server to BW and HANA back in 2012, and till recently in 2019 we've been a part and party of either BW Enterprise Data Warehousing or S4 HANA. So the message I want to emphasize again here is that we do have a very deep understanding of technology, the processes, business use cases, and the product support available with Birlasoft, and that clearly been listed in this particular slide. I know the slide is pretty busy, but the message that we want to carry that we have credentials when it comes to the entire HANA as a practice. Lastly, this is about my portfolio. I'm responsible for big data analytics under the SAP umbrella, and responsible for 5 buckets, which consist of visualization analytics, basically business objects as a platform, cloud analytics. Second bucket, data as a service. We recently started this as a new initiative, wherein we are helping customers to do data management, whether it will be on the ERP side, whether it's on the BW side, or overall native data HANA database management side. Then upgrades and migration. This is where our pitch income for today, where how we can help customer to transit from classic BW to BW for HANA. And then the important part that we actually separate out ourselves from the data HANA lake, wherein we are asking customers to take advantage of the native HANA platform, whether it's in the cloud or whether it will be on the on-premise. And finally, we also offer a lot of AMCs or AMS. We have quite a spread of customers who we are doing BW on HANA and BW for HANA as a support engagement. Yeah, so this is more about us. I will straight jump into the BW for HANA today's discussion. So I will be covering a couple of slides before I hand over to Ramdas. Ramdas is going to cover more on the technical side. He will go little bit deep maybe 2 to 3 level down in terms of how exactly BW for HANA will be helpful based on his hands-on experience. But before I hand over, I thought like to make the context available why somebody need analytics. I think this question is more relevant in these days because a lot of guys in the organization, like I mentioned in the slide, has an aspiration to work with the data, right? So everybody want to understand the data at different level. They want to acquire data from different sources, different systems, and then make either near real time or almost real time decision to make their daily operations working. So I could see I have CXO level, I have marketing people, I have supply chain, I have business finance or operations, followed by analysts, right? So I touched upon most of the key areas where people need data and translating that data to information. Some of the time, based on the historic data, we can actually utilize or help analysts to start predicting some of the behavior using predictive analytics. So this is the mantra which is set into a new which is a platform which SAP also offers using BW for HANA. Now, just thought about getting one use case just to see whether people on the phone, customer on the phone can correlate. Somebody has definitely had doubt why I want to move to BW for HANA or any in-memory computation. So we actually in the phase of implementing a BW for HANA as a project into one of the largest retail company down in Bangalore. And we actually started building their POV where we started demonstrating the use case wise utilization of the platform rather than going that as a IT initiative. Definitely it is an IT initiative, but if it is actually benefiting to the user community, the buying will be very high. And that is the whole thought process of the use case where I'm saying that imagine you have a store where you are actually trying to predict the inventory data, trying to predict what kind of apparel, what kind of material I would need to fill in the store more effectively. These days you are doing this possibly maybe n-1 because you are using not using the power of I would say real-time data calculations, real-time data acquisition, and that is the reason you may face certain point that I'm not able to take that decision on the fly. I may lose some of the opportunity where I could have utilized. But what happens if I start using a HANA platform? So can I get my data not only a real-time acquisition into BW layer, but can I process that as well? And can I get that at the finger of at the end of every hour, maybe end of the store time? So with that power in our hand, we were looking at to get you into BW for HANA. So that is a very simple use case. I tried to demonstrate it using the diagram rather than the entire text. That might correlate, and this can be then correlate to most of the functions across the industry. I could definitely imagine that we can then produce such kind of use cases to demonstrate and need or urgency of getting into BW for HANA. So with that, I'm going to quickly hand over this session to Ramdas. Definitely, if there are any queries, as Nikhil said, please hold on to those and then keep it ready in the chat. And definitely at the end of the session, we will address those. Thanks, team, and then hand over to Ramdas.
Thanks, Mandar. So, yeah. So here, quickly, we can see the number of customers, right? Number of customers which is currently on BW system. So that might be the classical BW or BW on HANA or BW for HANA. So most of us, the customers which you are using the SAP BW system. So BW is there from 1998, right? SAP has introduced as data warehouse to under his bucket, right? So here we can see almost 17,000 plus customers which are currently on BW, classic BW system. Out of that, 10,000 customers are moved ahead. So that might be from 3.x to 7.3, 7.4 or 7.5. Right? And 5,000 plus customers are utilizing the HANA capability, right? But that is not like BW for HANA. So, and remaining 1,800 plus customers are using the BW for HANA as their next generation data warehouse solutions. So here we can see, right? So this is the BW for HANA architect diagram. So here we can see this various options, right? Various options where the BW4 system we are using as a single point of truth, right? Where the data from SAP as well as non-SAP systems will come and reside. At the same time, SAP has given another couple of options, right? The big data connections or the data lake, right? So now we can take that data from Hadoop or data lakes into the BW4 HANA, right? We can do the processing into the BW4 system, and then on top of that, we can do the reporting using business tools or SAC, right? At the same time, we can open up, right? So we can take the data out of the BW4 system, which can be fed to the external systems. So here in BW4 system, we can with SAP's latest releases, right? SAP HANA 2.0 SP04, right? So we can, SAP has given the options, right? We can do the data connection with the cloud as well. So here we can get the data from cloud and integrate, get the data into the BW4 and then do the processing as per your need, and we can do the reporting on that. At the same time, we can use the success factor connections also, right? So we know that success factor is a cloud solution, right, which SAP has given. So now the provision, SAP has given the provision to integrate the success factor into the BW4 HANA. So I just wanted to make things clear here. So whatever as Mandar mentioned, right? So whatever the innovations SAP is doing, so all those innovations SAP is trying and focusing into the BW4 HANA. So those are not into the BW on HANA. So for example, if you are on BW 7.4 or 7.5 on HANA, so you will not get these features which I talked recently, cloud connectivity plus success factor connectivity, so on and so forth, into your existing landscape. So that is only available into the BW4 HANA with the latest release. So here, what is the BW4 HANA and when it is introduced into the market or for the customer by SAP? So if the customers who are already on BW on HANA, so they might aware about this BW4. But let me again reiterate those things. So BW4 HANA is into the market from October 2016. So SAP has introduced BW4 HANA as a product into the market in way back in 2016, right? August 2016. So what is the design principle of BW4 HANA? So you can see these are the 4 design principles which has been the core of this product, right? So again, I'm saying, so this is not the stack of NetWeaver. So BW4 is a product which has been written into the HANA database. So here we are going to utilize all the underlying libraries, right? Application libraries which are residing into the HANA database for doing the predictive analysis, text processing, special and business analytics. So we can utilize all those capabilities into BW4 HANA. So these are the 4 design principles. First is a high performance. Obviously, as I mentioned, right? So this product has been designed on HANA database, so we can utilize all the existing capabilities of HANA database, including the compression, then the libraries into the BW4 HANA. The second one is openness. Openness in the sense, so let's say I have created one of the data flow into the BW4 HANA. So at the same time, if I have some kind of settings into the modeling tool, right? So I can easily generate the external calculation view, which can be utilized at the HANA database. We can do the SQL coding on top of that calculation view, and I can use that calculation view along with the another data, right? Maybe from another source systems, right? At native HANA database. So that is the openness, simplicity. So what is the simplicity? So if you have seen your existing landscape, right? So I'll go right from the source systems. So how many source systems we are having in BW 7.0 or 7.3, 4, 5, right? So there are 7 to 8 different options for our source system, right? From SAP BW itself, SAP ECC system, then again UD Connect, DB Connect, file, so on and so forth. But here in SAP BW for HANA, SAP has given only 4 source systems option. One is the big data, then second one is ODP connection, the third one is HANA, and then fourth is a file systems. And how many number of objects do we have into SAP BW for HANA? So there are only 4 objects which we can use in our modeling. So first is the info object, then second is the ADSO. These 2 are the persistent object, and then fourth is the open ODS and the HANA composite provider, HANA enabled composite provider. So those are the 4 objects which we can use into the modeling, right? And then the modern user interface, right? So with the help of BW modeling tool, we can do the modeling for BW for HANA. So here in this slide, we have covered all the detailed technical advantages for your developers, right? As Mandar is already covered that how it is going to impact, or how the business is going to utilize the benefits of underlying HANA database. So that part already we have covered. So now this is a pure technical advantages which our technical team is going to get, right? So first, this is the modern data warehouse, and we can use the standard business content. What is mean by standard business content? So those are all HANA optimized objects, right? So HANA optimized objects means those are specially designed for BW for HANA data flows, right? Where we are not having any extended star schema kind of stuff, right? So this is only normal star schema, right? Then simplified development environment, right? So here we can, while doing the development, right, we need to use the BW modeling tool. So that is the new interface with which we are going to do or design our data models. Then simplified data integration. So whenever we want to extract the data from, if you are having any big data landscape in your enterprise, then you can easily connect. The connection options are made easy in this BW for HANA connections, right? Then the data lifecycle management. So how can we take care of our data with various temperatures, hot, warm, and cold, right? Hot data is already that will reside into the main memory, or I would say the RAM, and then warm data will reside into the extension nodes, and then cold will go to the NLS. So for these the configurations, right? The configurations which we need to do for that data tiering, those are simplified into the BW for HANA, which were never before into our classic systems. Right? Then BW workspace is always available for the business users, right, where they can upload their own data and they can utilize the existing data into BW system, and they can do their own reporting. And as we see that, so HANA within this BW for HANA, for our every object, right, the calculation views will automatically get created. And one of the best feature SAP has given in BW for HANA SP08, right? So they have introduced the BW for HANA cockpit. So all the administration and monitoring tasks, including our day-to-day process chain monitoring, that can be done through web. So process chain, right from process chain creation till monitoring, all the stuff we can do using the BW for HANA cockpit. So we don't have to use any more SAP GUI for the modeling, for the monitoring purpose. So and as we know that the BW for HANA can easily we can keep that into the cloud, into the available cloud options, right? For example, HEC or AWS or Azure, right? And then as we have demonstrated one of the business case, right, where in existing BW landscape we are getting the n-1 day data, versus in BW for HANA with the help of process chain streaming option, which will coming into the later slide. So with that, with the help of that process chain streaming option, we can get near real-time data, maybe a little means 5 minutes delay, right? Maximum 5 minutes delay. So let's assume that you have created any of the transaction in your ECC or non-SAP system. So that process chain streaming option. So obviously there are a lot of background programs which will be running, right, when we will use that option. So those programs will take care of bringing the real-time data into the BW for HANA for our data analysis. And here we can see that we don't have any more ABAP coding has to be need to write into the BW for HANA. For this, SAP has suggested we need to go for AMDP, ABAP Managed Database Procedures. So this is dedicated code or the code which is written that will directly execute on HANA database. Earlier, our code was running onto the application layer, which was taking more time, right, to process the data and then replicate into the queries or any of the reporting tool. But now with this BW for HANA, all our transformations, all the DTPs, all the data loading and the coding will be done. Whatever the code and the calculation which we have written into that code will be pushed down to the database level. And as I mentioned, right, with the help of this compression techniques and algorithm, the coding, the execution of those codes or data load will be faster, which was never before.
So just to extend Ramdas' topic, I think these technical advantages are very huge, and we are actually observed that the development cycle for the specific BW object, let's say into BW classic environment versus the BW for HANA, we personally seen a lot of improvement, a lot of execution benefits that we are getting. Definitely, it's an advantage because the lot of layers in between has been removed. More of an quick manage process chain, more of an central point manage rather than going to multiple tools. So the message or the emphasis that we want to attract from this particular slide is that when we move to BW for HANA, there are a lot of technical advantages that the consultants can definitely leverage on. At the outset of that, definitely we will get a lot of advantages while delivering these projects, right, on a quicker note, on a quicker pace. That is the most important part when we go to business, say for example, saying that I want to deliver this project on a BW4 landscape. These are the advantages definitely you will be getting, and one of them could be the 4 design principle which Ramdas has talked about. Yeah. So just moving on, keeping the time check. So yeah, these are the new modern tools.
Yes. So yeah, thanks, Mandar. So basically, Mandar was talking about the layers, right? Where LSA++ has boost. We are having only 3 layers, right? In our data model. That's it. Versus our earlier LSA architecture. So now these are the modern tools, right, which SAP BW for HANA offers. So yeah, so with the BW4, we are not using Business Explorer to create the queries anymore. So that BEX functionality has been embedded into the BW modeling tool. So you can left side you can see the big screen, right? So this is nothing but the BEX into the BW for HANA. So that is available into our modeling tool. Then the business BEX analyzer has been replaced by analysis for office, and then we for our reporting or dashboarding we can go for SAP Lumira or Web Intelligence or Crystal Report. Yeah, these are the different reporting tools SAP has provided. And now talking about the temperature management, right? So here left side screen, you can see this is the BW for HANA cockpit. So this is a Fury launchpad, right? Where we need to log in and we can see different type of apps, right? Dedicated apps has been provided by SAP to manage this data temperatures. So as we saw, right, hot data always that will be into the main memory or RAM, then warm data will be kept into the extension nodes into the HANA database itself, and then cold data we can take it out into the Sybase IQ or Hadoop.
So Nikhil, can you see our screen? I thought it was gone for a minute.
Yes, we are able to see your
Nikhil?
screen now. Yes. We are able to see your screen now.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, it was some.
Please, yeah, maximize if you can. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
So here, as we can see, right, already I have explained that the data temperature management can be done through the BW for HANA cockpit, and this is made very simple, right? As what if you have done any kind of NLS solution you have implemented into your current landscape, so you might have seen that basis person need to do some kind of a connection with your NLS solution, and then we need to go into the T codes, then select the object, then go into the manage and select the transport, and then select those objects, right, which might be you need to the data archiving, or you want to push the data into the NLS with the help of month or calendar year or month, whatever the criteria is. So that is made very simple with this cockpit.
And this is available to latest one.
Yes. So this all options are available these are options available from HANA 1.0, but the lot of innovations has been done into HANA 2.0 with the latest SP.
Okay. Yeah, this is important, I think, folks, because now which Ramdas has mentioned about real-time processing streaming, right? So before he jumps into the technical part, I would imagine that this is most important criteria for data acquisition on the HANA platform, especially on the BW layer, because nowadays every company is not only relying on ECC data. There are a lot of other silos also where BW would like to connect and get the data streamed on a regular basis rather than waiting for a day or two, right? So this is an important I would say feature.
Yes. So as here we can see the process. There is one extra process type which SAP has introduced right from BW 7.5 SP05, but it is more useful in BW for HANA, right? So here if we have created a process chain and enabled into the streaming mode, then as I mentioned earlier, so here we can get the real-time data which has been created into your OLTP system. That might be the ECC or non-SAP system. With this, so I would like to add one more point here. So with in BW for HANA, we are not having any concept called PSA. So PSA has been gone. So the data, so whatever the first layer, data acquisition layer, which we are having in our classical BW system, so that is no more there into the BW for HANA. The QRFC and RSS7, right? So where I can see my delta data. So that data we can see into the ODQmon. That is a new transaction with by introducing or by with the BW4 system. We can see all our data sources and delta data into the ODQmon transaction. So these are the new stuff we need to accommodate with when we are working into the BW4 system. There are a couple of questions you might have in your mind, right? So if you move from ECC to S4, right, how it will impact to the existing data source. So SAP has came up with their own list, right? These are the data sources which are not having any impact, right? With your ECC to S4 migration, still you can get the data from those standard data sources into your BW system. And now here,
folks, now we are getting into the third section of our webinar, where how we can actually transit from classic BW to BW for HANA. So the topic that we covered quickly, I want to just to take a recap that we started with the journey why BW for HANA. There was a use case, how we can actually try to get a business buy-in if at all business is basically driving these projects at times. Then we jumped upon what are the 4 design principles, how it is very useful for IT to manage BW for HANA as a landscape. And most importantly, which Ramdas has touched upon, is about what if I'm transiting from ECC to S4, what will be the impact, right? So we are possibly arranging a quick webinar also on that topic, where your existing BW, what are the impact when we move from ECC to BW, because ECC to S4 HANA, because we're getting a lot of queries and a lot of questions around that. So we thought of taking that as a separate session as well in coming days. But without wasting time, this is an important piece where how we can then transit from our classic to BW for HANA.
Here we can see on the left side that these are the, let's say we're having classical BW system into the company, right? So these are the objects which are when I shift or when I migrate from classic BW to BW for HANA. So the object you can see, right? So these objects will convert into the BW for HANA. So here SAP has given all the standard tools, right? So some of the tools will help us to modify or to convert the existing BW object to BW4 object. Since for some of the object we need to do the manual intervention, we need to again modify or change those objects, then activate and then take into our BW4 system. So these are the list of objects which can be moved from BW to BW4. Some of will get modified into the BW4 using tool or semi-automated and manual. And these are the 3 different methods, right? SAP has introduced for the customers who are on classical BW system can move into the BW for HANA. So first is the in-place conversion. So who is a candidate for in-place conversion? The customer who is on BW 7.5 with HANA database. So that is the minimum criteria customer has to satisfy for this in-place conversion. So that is the first thing. Then second option is remote conversion, which is recommended by SAP. So who are the possible candidates? The candidate or the customers who is having the BW system with 7.3 or higher version with any database. So we have seen, right, as Mandar mentioned, we got a couple of inquiries from the customers which is falling into this remote conversion bucket. So here this will work as a here we will all together we will have all separate BW4 system. Then we are taking all the selected data flows and then dumping into the BW4 system. Then we are making conversion of those objects into that new system, and then with the transports we are moving those objects into the landscape, maybe in the quality or production system. And in remote conversion we are doing the data transfer as well. With the data models, the data transfer is also done into the remote conversion. And the third one is the shell conversion. So shell conversion minimum release or expected BW infra from the customer is BW 7.5 or higher on any database. So in shell conversion, we are only doing the data model transports. So here we are not transferring any data from your SAP or non-SAP system. So once the BW4 data models has been ready in your new system, then we need to reload the data from your underlying source systems. So these are the three different conversion methods, or I would say the paths SAP has introduced or provided the options to the customer to shift to the BW4 system.
Okay. So, Ramdas, I will take maybe some extra time. So let's say, let's take an example that internally, folks, we actually attended, me and Ramdas has actually visited SAP labs multiple times and done the hands-on on each three scenarios. And let me take a stab that we internally within Birlasoft COE, we have tried all three options. We have our own infrastructure where we could demonstrate what are our strengths in each three. More preferred, as Ramdas mentioned, is about remote conversion. As the diagram also depicts, we can actually choose and pick which data flow we want to move from scratch to BW for HANA, and the data also is importantly loaded. Some of the customer might have an option or the thought process of Unicode conversion, and that's the reason we highlighted that purposefully, saying that the conversion itself will take care of the Unicode conversion while we are doing the transit from BW Classic to BW for HANA. So let me recap again, because this is the most important slide where we want to decide which route we have to take. First is in place, where it has been clearly mentioned that somebody who has on HANA database, BW on HANA, it will be very easy path or the preferred path to do in place conversion. That means on the same system we are doing the conversion. So you will have that landscape reserved for your BW for HANA. Second, which is a remote, and in our quick poll that we had at the initial time of the webinar, I could see there are 43% of the customer who has either BW 7.3 onwards on specifically maybe on any database. Then the remote conversion would be the most preferred one, where we can actually help you to first digest what are the how many BW objects that we have, how many BEX queries that we have, and then push on to BW for HANA with a separate instance. The shell conversion which is an, I would say, an extension to the remote conversion only, wherein the reporting layer only get transferred to BW for HANA. So even if you go through a lot of material available from the SAP side, a remote conversion remains the top preferred one, and the shell is an extension of that, wherein people only want to see their reporting layer or the LSA++ architecture, cubes and multi-provider pushing to BW for HANA. So this is the most critical takeaway from this slide. And as we talk about, we are actually Birlasoft and SAP are actually working on a concept, something called as migration factory, wherein we will be getting an opportunity to visit customers, study their BW landscape, and do the assessment of these three conversion methods to come up with the approach. Once the approach is finalized, with the help and blessing from the SAP side, we will definitely start as your SI, as your preferred SI to execute the project. Yeah. So just to keeping the time on, I will skim through some of the slides or methods that we actually learned during our execution at a couple of customer side and internal side as well. So you want to talk to that?
So I'll go quickly through these slides, right? Yeah. So as I said, right, so if you are going for remote conversion or shell conversion, you will have to you need to have the separate BW system, BW4 system. So there we are taking all the object and then doing the classical object, migrating those to the BW4. So let's say this that left hand side we are having currently the existing data flow. So using the transfer cockpit and another SAP provided tools, the new data flow will look like to the right side, right, where we're having only ADSO and composite provider into that layer. So this is structure. Then this is the snapshot of a transfer cockpit which I was talking about. And then these are the different steps, right, which we need to execute while doing the object conversion or data flow conversion from BW to BW4 system. And this is the diagram, right, where the data flow has been shown, right. With the help of RFC, we need to push the data along with the separate LTA DIMMs, right. We will get the data into the BW4 system from classical system. And this is the final diagram, right. So final diagram means, so let's say that you are keeping both the systems in your environment. So SAP will provide the data to ECC as well as your new BW4 unless and until it will get stabilized. So that is possible through data cloning. So
this is also an important feature, right?
Yes, yes. So you can see all the data, the new data flows into the BW4 system for some time, and then decommission your BW system and start utilizing the BW4 system as a next generation EDW in your landscape.
Okay. So while I would request the customers who has any questions to start typing in, I will cover one of the recent case study that I'm lucky that Ramdas was part of that development cycle, wherein we actually been asked a question to actually do the digital transformation for one of the company in US. And we were actually able to resolve their digital journey by implementing the S4 HANA as well as the BW for HANA as their EDW. When I say as a EDW, because the company has not only S4 HANA as one of their source, but has multiple other legacy applications which will taking data into BW for HANA. And the features that Ramdas talked about has all been utilized, like precision acquisition, or I would say data acquisition in real time, then in speedy development cycle while building a BW for HANA object, then consuming those objects onto the reporting layer. We were actually utilizing that into an CDS based reports or embedded BW, also on a business objects layer. So that is our one of the recent case study where we did greenfield. At the same time, some of the customer might look at that, can Birlasoft help me in delivering a small POV or POC in terms of which route I should pick it up. So currently we are doing that at a couple of retail customers. So we actually understand their, I would say, the business requirement. It is more on the IT-driven project rather than the business, but we converted that as a business value proposition by providing the BW for HANA as a POV. So that gives an IT head and more satisfaction, saying that it is not just an IT initiative, it was more actually helping the end user. So these are the actual two use cases that I thought of making us more stand out into the market. And lastly, I want to actually say on the Corona side, just to be safe. So for this webinar, we are currently in office despite some threats in Hinjawadi, but it's worth it because we want to actually share our experience on BW for HANA, at the same time get your questions answered. So with that, I want to say thanks from our side, from Nikhil and from Birlasoft team, and look forward for the questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mandar and Ramdas. So request all attendees to type in their questions. Panelists will take the questions now.
So Nikhil, are we getting question, or are you going to unmute and then folks can talk to us, or how?
Yes, so if you want to ask the questions, we can unmute you. Please raise your hand. So I think Mandar, there are no questions. So request attendees, if you have any questions, please write to Mandar on mandar.gokhale@birlasoft.com and Ramdas on ramdas.patil@birlasoft.com. Thank you for attending the webinar, and here we end the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thanks all.
Thank you for your time and be safe. Thanks.